morning, everyone.
Hello. How are you doing? Not too bad. I mean, it's early.
Too many beers last night?
Or French fries. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we're so glad to have you here because today we're going to be talking about some cool, exciting technology that Google can provide to you, namely Google Cloud Workflows and Wallets. And here with me, I have the pleasure of having my friend, GUILLAUME LaForge. And you might know him about other stuff like Groovy things. But today, he's going to be talking about Google Cloud Workflows.
Thank you. And here we have Edson Yanaga, who's a developer advocate and focusing on Google Wallet. And you're also known for other things as well. You've been there at Devoxx quite a few times in the past as well. So we are really happy to have you here today for this talk. Thanks for attending. So we wanted to give away some nice Pixel Buds Pro. And we thought, okay, we need to create a little application for a raffle, to pick up a winner. And so we could do a very simple thing, I don't know, even a Google spreadsheet or something, or just a simple app. But we thought, okay, let's see what we can do with some cool technologies. So there are many interesting services that you can use on Google Cloud to host an application. So we could have written just one simple service, one simple application, but we thought that we could do something a bit fancier just to demonstrate the kind of architectures you can build on top of such products. And of course, we wanted to use Google Wallet for the passes, for coffee vouchers as well, for the raffle for the prize. So we decided to build a complicated Rube Goldberg kind of machine or application to do that.
Yeah, we were like exchanging some ideas of how we could create a raffle. All the code would fit like in one class, one method. But then why not? Why are we doing this complicated stuff? Like, I think it shows us how can we provide some composability. We're doing different functions, cool technologies, and the end result, I think, is going to be pleasant, especially for the winners.
Yeah.
The price today, we have free Pixel Buds Pro because we have some free cool announcements about new technologies that we have. So the deal is, every time we have an announcement, if you cheer enough, if you clap enough, we're going to raffle one Pixel Buds Pro. And we're going to share with you how you can win one of these cool new gadgets. Actually, I don't have, GUILLAUME doesn't have, because these Pixel Buds Pro were launched about 3 or 4 weeks ago. So it's brand new technology, but in the physical world. And first, a legal disclaimer that I have to tell you. So I'll just let this slide sink in the screen for about 10 seconds so you can read it. But you can't participate in the raffle if you are one of these. I don't think we have somebody from the royal family here.
Oh, one.
Oh, yes,
sorry. You can't.
Yeah. But for all the other mortals, you can participate if you don't fit in the scenarios. Okay? 3, 2, 1. That's enough?
So yeah, we've built an application. So you can. So this is just a screenshot of the application. We will show you the application later on. But either you scan this QR code or you type the bit.ly link over there, and it should bring you to the application. And then you're going to click the Enter button, and you'll be you'll be seeing some emojis, and then it will redirect you to the pass that you can install on your device.
Yes, when you add a pass to your account, if you have an Android phone, the pass will be downloaded automatically to your wallet. If you have another kind of phone, you'll be able to see the pass on the screen. So please don't leave that screen, because you have to show that us to win one of our Pixel Buds Pro.
Don't close the tab if you're not on Android. That's the
yeah, that's the deal.
Yeah. And we'll show this later on. So. Yeah, so let's talk about the architecture of this application. So as we said, it could have been just a simple class, a simple application, but we decided to build something fancier, as we said. So you're on the top left with your mobile device or laptop potentially, and you're going to hit first service. So this is a Micronaut application that I built, and I've deployed it and containerized it and deployed it on Google Cloud Run, which allows you to run containers in a serverless fashion. Then that application, once it's receiving the incoming request, it's going to create a workflow execution. So it launches the workflow, and what is the workflow doing? So if you scanned, you must have seen the random kind of string. So for example, sad blue panda or something like this. So we could have just used a simple random function for that, but instead the workflow is going to call 3 different Google Cloud functions, one each for part of the string. So one is going to give you a random color, another function is going to give you a random emotion, and the last one a random animal, right? So we're collecting those 3 random strings, and we're going to store that in Google Cloud Firestore, which is a NoSQL database fully managed on Google Cloud. Then that's the moment where you're going to be redirected to download and get the pass. And this is the job of another application. This time, instead of Micronaut, Edson wrote it using Quarkus. And it's also deployed on Cloud Run, right? And well, there's the wallet technology, but tell me, perhaps let us know a little bit more about what wallet is all about, if you will.
Yes, some of you might be wondering, what is this wallet that we're talking about? Well, if you have an Android phone, you might have noticed that a few weeks ago, you have a new app on your phone, or you might have to download this new app, depending on the distribution of the Android OS that you have in your phone. But Google Wallet was launched, as I said, a few weeks ago, and better than just discussing what is Google Wallet, I have a video here that I think will give you a better notion of what can you do with this new digital wallet.
This is a wallet, and this is Google Wallet. They both keep hold of your credit cards. Loyalty cards, gift cards, boarding passes, transit passes, vaccine cards, concert tickets, ID cards. Car keys? Well, yeah, I guess you could put those in a regular wallet. Might hurt to sit down, but... Oh, look at that. Google Wallet lets you virtually access your car keys. Is a regular wallet secure? Kinda, not really. Maybe a chain wallet? Google Wallet, though, super secure. It gives you all the security features of your Android phone. Plus, it lets you control your data and encrypts all your purchases. Speaking of purchases, once you add your card, you can tap to pay everywhere Google Pay is accepted. You can also choose to connect Google Wallet to other Google apps, making them even more helpful. So it'll know when to send you event notifications, flight updates, and let you see your transit card balances. Okay, so maybe Google Wallet is different. In a good way. In many good ways.
So this is the wallet perspective from a consumer, so from a user of an Android phone. But we're here at Devoxx, the largest Java developer conference in the world, and we're talking to developers. So what does Google Wallet represent for you as a developer? So what can we do with that? We have a series of verticals, and we as a developer, we're free to create passes for each one of those verticals. For example, if you have a loyalty card, you work for a retail store, and you want to provide some user information that people can use at your own physical stores. You want to provide offers. You want to provide some geolocalization features, so that as if a consumer, if somebody walks by one of your stores and you want to show some of that offers in your Google Wallet, you can do that with some loyalty cards or offer passes and other kinds of features that we have with Google Wallets. We can also have tickets. I don't know how many of you noticed, but this year the Devoxx tickets were provisioned as Google Wallet passes. So if you have Android, you were able to quickly check in. So I saw the lines were much smaller because people weren't digging through their emails trying to find the PDF. So they just showed the wallet pass or other digital passes to be able to check in at the conference. So that's some of the stuff that you can do.
And that's what I did. I used my wallet pass.
Ah, congratulations. Well, that's what I did, and my check-in took 3 seconds.
Yeah, exactly.
And you can also have access. You can create digital keys. So if you want to check into the gym, if you want to go to the office, and you can exchange your physical keys for digital keys, you can do that with wallets. And not only these kind of keys, you can do hotel keys, you can do car keys, and everything is enabled through the wallet API. And if you're concerned about security, because in some places you can scan your barcode, and for example, to open the door, and you might be wondering, yeah, maybe somebody can copy that QR code or barcode, but we have security features that prevent users from sharing their keys for unauthorized access. So we have discovered. Health. We also provide ways for you to provide your health information, and we also provide ways for you to store that sensitive information, because you don't want this sensitive information about your vaccination or your test records to be stored anywhere on the internet. So we provide secure ways for you to store this information only in your phone, in a way that only you can access this information. So we have features for sensitive information as well, and much more. And we had the Devoxx tickets on your wallet. Just in case you passed by the Google booth there, you notice that we have coffee vouchers. Yesterday during the party, we have drink vouchers. So these are just some of the new use cases that you can have, because we have some verticals, and we have a feature called generic passes that allows developers to customize everything that you need in your pass. So you can have the front, you can have the back of the details, you can have the timed features, you can have geolocalization features, and much more. And what did we do here at Devoxx for this particular demo? I have here, I'm just quickly going to show you. The Google Wallet integration is super simple. For us to be able to give you the raffle ticket as a wallet pass, I just created a plain old REST resource here using Quarkus. So that's the code of my endpoints. And for Google Wallets, you might see, I might have to scroll here a bit of the code to show you the API, but I can tell you that most of the code, 90% of the code, is just a matter of building the POJO with the information from the pass. Because creating the pass is just a matter of sending a post request, and my pass is created. And if you go through the developer documentation, you notice that, well, we also have the notion of classes and objects, because there are some information that is shared between multiple tickets, and you don't want to be sharing this same information over and over again over the network. So we save the name of the event. Well, this is something that belongs to the class, because all of the tickets, they have the same information. But the thing that changes between each user, the QR code, the color, the mood, and the animal that you have for the raffle, this kind of thing changes, so it belongs to the objects. The code, and to be able to deploy that to Google Cloud Run, all I had to do with Quarkus was to configure on application properties. I just added the Kubernetes, actually not Kubernetes, the Jib extension, and I provided some features, some information like container image, the registry, the group, and the name. And also I provided some information there about Google Wallets. And to be able to deploy that to Google Cloud, all I had to do was to run a very simple command, which was mvn package, providing a property telling Quarkus to push my image to the registry. So just by typing it, in a matter of a few seconds, Quarkus is building the image and is pushing to my container registry. Then I went through the Google Cloud Run interface and I said, I want to run this particular image, and it was deployed. Actually, luckily, I'm deploying a new version, but it's not triggering and automatically redeploy because I asked not to do so, because I didn't want to break the raffle on stage. So in just a few seconds, it will be there. And coming back here, if you want to learn more about Wallet, you can go to developers.google.com/wallet. And we have an announcement. So this is the first one. So I'd like to share with you live, because just a few seconds ago, we just published an open source project called Open Source Pass Converter. So you might be aware of other digital wallet implementations. And we also have Google Wallet. And at least for now, they are incompatible. And you as a developer might be wondering, how do I map the information that I have in one digital wallet format to another one, such as Google Wallet? How can I convert this information from one pass to another one. And to be very honest, it can take some time because the fields are different, the order information is different, maybe the format is different. To make your life easier, we created these open source projects. So this tool allows you to convert passes between different digital formats, and also allows you to provide a mapping between the information that is contained in one format to the other one. And to show you live, last quick demo, I promise. I have here, unfortunately, it's a Node.js application. Okay, I hope you forgive me.
It's not dirty.
Yeah, but JSON manipulation is easier in JavaScript. We'll have to admit that. So, and because the passes are both in JSON, here it's running. This application can run in multiple different ways. Can be a REST service, can have an UI, can be a CLI, but here I'm going to use the UI. So if I just go back here to my browser and create a new one, a new window, and go to localhost, I have pass converter, and through the UI it's asking me, well, if you want to convert from one format to the other, you can just here, I'm going to choose a file. Luckily, I've downloaded some passes that I have from other digital formats. I can open here, and it's converting it on the fly, and as soon as it got converted, it already created a Google Wallet pass for me. And you'll be able to see, as you've seen in other different ways, as soon as I click here, Ads, if you have an Android phone, you see Added, you see that I'm going to receive a notification. And if I click on the notification, I see the pass that was just added on the browser in my mobile phone. So that's the kind of integration that you can expect from Google Wallet. And that's what I wanted to share with you about Google Wallet. And for the next part of the presentation, we're going to get to how are we generating these random animals, colors, moods that you have in your raffle. And by the way, because we had an announcement.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't hear any cheers. Did we? Thank you so much. I know you're super excited about it. And so we're going to pick one winner.
Let's pick one. Relieved Blue Worm. Who is Relieved Blue Worm? Double check. Over there.
Oh, congratulations. If you can,
come.
please.
That's awesome. By the way, when I pick the winners, I could, it's random, but potentially it can pick the same winner. So if you're selected twice, we'll try again.
Oh yeah, we forgot to implement
I should have
we forgot to implement
the entry, exactly.
the function, the filters.
And I just thought about it right now.
Relieved Blue Worm. I bet you're not relieved, but maybe you're happy. Okay. So,
yeah, picture, of course. Awesome.
Thank you. I just need to
congratulations.
take a picture of your badge. Yeah. And you'll be able to enjoy some great music.
Woohoo! That's cool. All right, so let's come back to our architecture. So I'll just show you the diagram again. So we had a look at this part here with the Quarkus service that is running on Cloud Run. And what's funny, by the way, so you use Jib to containerize your application, and you use Maven to build your this application. But I'm using Gradle, and instead of using Jib, I actually built using Google Cloud Builds. So I push directly on Google Cloud Build. So it's funny, we didn't sync, but it's cool to be able to show different approaches to containerizing applications.
Yeah, I'm a Maven fan.
Yeah.
You might be a Gradle fan. You might be wrong, but okay.
You too. But yeah, I'm suddenly biased because, of course, there's the Groovy DSL for Gradle, and being the Groovy co-founder makes me want to use Gradle more than...
we forgive you.
Yeah, thanks. So yeah, I'm going to show you the Cloud Run application built with Micronaut that we used both for the raffle to pick up a winner and for you to enter the raffle. And we're going to see how you can invoke a workflow execution. We'll have a quick look at least one of those three functions, but they are pretty much copy and paste one and the other, and how we store data in Firestore. Okay. So yeah, and before showing the code, just a few words. So we're using serverless technologies. Cloud Run, it's for containers. Cloud Functions, it's for functions, as you can guess. And why did we choose those? We could have, deployed on a VM, on a Kubernetes cluster, or something like this. But we wanted something, I would say, light and that scales automatically. Because why spin up a GKE cluster, a Kubernetes cluster, just for a simple application that should be on, like for an hour or something like this? Well, of course, I could shut down the cluster afterwards. But still, what serverless offers, it's first of all, it's a fully managed environment, so you don't have to worry about running the infrastructure yourself. So when you're a developer, it's always nicer if you can just, oh yeah, I want to deploy a new service. Okay, I'm just going to deploy to Cloud Run, my container to Cloud Run, and I don't have to interact necessarily, or at least not in the first place, with your DevOps people or your Ops people. But they can be involved later on, of course. And auto-scaling, what's great is that it auto-scales from 0 to 1, 1 to n, and back to 1 and back to 0. And for example, here, I mean, as soon as we'll be over with this presentation, the various instances of Cloud Run that run will just be decommissioned, and they won't be running, which means as well that it won't cost you anything, because it's a pay-per-use kind of model. So, well, that's basically it about what serverless really is in this context. And we have several, on Google Cloud, we have several solutions for hosting serverless applications, depending on their shape as well. So there's the venerable App Engine product. And I remember, actually, I think it was in 2009, I was here at Devoxx with Patrick Chanzo, perhaps you know him, demonstrating App Engine Java, which was just released. So that's a long time ago. So there's App Engine for deploying applications. On Cloud Run, you deploy containers. So either you can deploy and containerize your application locally, like Edson did with Jib, J-I-B, or you can also build from sources. And for example, I built using, there's an integration with cloud native build packs. So I'm just deploying my code, and it's automatically compiled, etc., and containerized within Google Cloud Build and pushed to a container registry. And Cloud Functions, it's really just small-scale functions like the functions we're going to see, where you don't need a full-blown class application, etc. So there are different use cases for web front-ends, web back-ends, etc. App Engine and Cloud Run are really great at that. App Engine might have a little edge for things like there's a built-in CDN to serve static content, or built-in memcache, and that's basically free, which is less free for Cloud Run when you want to use the equivalent services. And you also have, so Cloud Run is pretty much good for all kind of use cases, but for example, Cloud Functions is more interesting for things like or asynchronous event-driven architectures. So for example, when you've got events that are flying through your system because there's a new file in cloud storage, or all sorts of events that trigger functions behind the hood, and not synchronously. But here I'm actually using them synchronously because I'm calling them via HTTP. But it's good for both cases. So Cloud Functions, yeah, I think I'll just probably show the code that will be simpler, because I think I said everything I wanted to say about this one. Oh yeah, no, see, a few more things. So Cloud Functions, you have to decide which runtime you want to use. So we mentioned Node.js, so there's a Node.js runtime. You can pick up even things like PHP, there's Python, I think we've got like 7 languages, there's Go, and of course there's Java. So you can either deploy a Java 11 function or Java 17 function. We go with the LTS versions of Java. So there's no Java 19, for example. And you've got what we call the functions framework. It's a lightweight API. You're going to implement and extend some base classes. It's a bit like a servlet API, if you will, but for functions. And for Cloud Run, what's great is that it's based on container technologies. I mean, you can, as long as it's a web app that listens to port 8080 or receives incoming HTTP request, any container that receives such HTTP request can be a Cloud Run container and can be deployed on Cloud Run. So that means that any web app you're building can be deployed there. And of course, in a container, you can put anything. So even if you want to use an esoteric language, whatever it is, Rust or Haskell or whatever, you can containerize that somehow and run it within Cloud Run. And then to orchestrate the APIs, the functions that I built, I am actually going to use Workflows. So Workflows is a service orchestrator product, and you can call any sorts of HTTP APIs. So whether it's stuff you've hosted on your cloud or in your project, whether it's existing APIs from Google, like machine learning APIs, etc., or it can call and interact with third-party APIs. So, for example, if you want to send an email, you may want to use SendGrid. You can, orchestrate business workflows and transactions thanks to Google Cloud Workflows. So let's have a look under the hood now that I've introduced the suspects of this application. Okay, so I'm going to start, let's say, with the code. I think. I guess I should use presentation mode, but I'm not used to it. So first of all, we have a controller. So it's a Micronaut controller. And actually, when I think about it, it looks similar to Quarkus because that's a annotation programming model. Somehow you annotate your controller, your endpoints, etc. So I just say, okay, I've got this class and it's annotated with @controller. So that's going to be my controller. I've got some logging there, and I have injected two services. There's one which is here to handle the workflow execution because I'm going to create an execution of my workflow. I also have one here which is going to handle Firestore, my NoSQL database, to store the entries, the raffle entries. And then what do I have? I have a few endpoints. So this endpoint here, so as you can see, I go to slash the root of my application. It's going to produce HTML. I'm using FreeMarker for the view. There are many Micronaut view technologies that you can use, Mustache or anything you have in mind. There's an integration with tons of templating engine. I'm also handling cookies. Then we've got another endpoint. So this one is going to, that's when you click on the enter button, it's the one that is going to trigger the workflow execution. So that's where, and I'm going to show you the services that I'm using, but just to show what it's doing. So it's creating an execution, and then I'm going to show you what it does exactly under the hood. And then we've got the last endpoint, which is /pick, which allows you to pick a winner from the list of entries that are saved in the database. So let's dive into, we can have a look at the Firestore service. So that's not, I would say, the most beautiful code. I don't like the Firestore API so much in Java. It's not very beautiful. So the Firestore service is here. So I'm building a new, I passed the right credentials, etc., to get the Firestore API. And then here I've got the where I'm gonna store the random entry. Or no, that's the one where I pick the random one from the list. So I retrieve the list of documents that are stored in the database. Then I'm going to fetch the reference for that document, get the snapshot of that document, and it's a future, so I have to get again. So it's get. That's I don't like those APIs that much. And then I'm returning that in my my controller here when I pick the winner. And the other one, when I enter, no, that's Yeah, and when I enter, when you click on the enter button, that's the one that triggers the workflow execution. So let's have a look at this second service that we injected. So here, same thing. I'm going to use the API related, to each product. So here I'm going to use the executions client, which creates workflows executions. I'm going to say, okay, I want to call this particular workflow, new raffle entry, and do you know where it's located? Europe West 1, right here in Belgium, of course. And so I create the execution, and then I get an execution object that tells me, okay, the workflow is currently executing, but I have to check. So here I'm just checking every second to see if the workflow has finished executing. So that's why I'm doing this little, stupid loop, sleep once again, and then I'm checking whether the workflow execution is still active or not. Okay, so I think that's about it for the code of my application. Yeah, perhaps I could also show you a few things like, well, it's not really important for, oh, why I'm not, sorry. Hey, what's going on? My Mac is acting weird? Okay, it's here. Strange. So you built with Jib, but I built with native build packs. When I use the default native build packs, it wants to build with Java 11. So I had to configure it thanks to a file called project.toml to say, okay, I really want to use Java 17, the JDK 17 for running my application. And also I want to say, okay, if you, since it's building a shadow jar of my application, or shaded jar in Maven speak, I want to run, my entry point is going to be the big jar that I created here. So I had to configure this a little bit. And then stuff I haven't shown you, it's like the HTML of the template, but there's nothing really crazy there. I'm using a library that I like, which is called Shoelace. Shoelace is a web component library, so things like the QR code, the button, etc. They are simple web components. And perhaps one last thing. Well, the rest is just, JavaScript interactions to, when you click on the button, we're going to make a fetch call, etc. So there's nothing really crazy about this. But I'd like to show you, so we said the Micronaut application will create a workflow execution. So I'd like to show you the workflow and what it looks like. So workflow, my workflow is here. You can define, and I can show you also the diagram that it creates. Well, it's a bit small, but I think it's okay, or perhaps I should do it like this. And I'm going to squeeze that a little bit. So in my workflow, there are different steps, and there's a visualization. So I'm assigning some variables that I need throughout my workflow. I'm going to call the functions to get the random string. I'm going to retrieve the result, and then also store the results in the database from the workflow. So declaratively, so I'm not programming the interaction with the database. And then I'm going to return the output. I'm just going to zoom in here because it's actually 3 parallel steps that are running for the 3 functions that create the 3 parts of the random string of the entry. So perhaps here, oh yeah, it's a bit not very visible. So what does creating a workflow look like? So it's really, you can use JSON or YAML. So here I'm using YAML. And so I'm retrieving some variables that I need, like the database root, the execution ID, the ongoing execution ID. Then I'm going to use parallel steps. So I forget if it was part of the 3 announcements we wanted to make. No, I think the other 2 are. So it's a smaller announcement, not worth a raffle, I'm sorry. But but the thing is, so you can do parallel steps, so they will execute concurrently. And this is a feature that just got GA'd this week. Because at the same time as Devoxx Belgium, there's Google Cloud Next, the big Google Cloud conference. and we just announced this. So I'm using a feature that was just announced. So parallel steps, and I've got it's just about saying, okay, this stuff is going to be running in parallel. These are the variables that can be accessed in parallel, and then the different branches. Here I just have one branch, or one step per branch, but you can have several steps per branch. And what I wanted to show you there is that it's very declarative. So I just say I want to do a get on my function, which is hosted there. And some of the cool stuff, it's things like for authentication, because you have to authenticate to the function. And again, it's declarative. I don't have to program how it works. Like I can use auth OpenID Connect, I can use auth2, etc. So it's pretty declarative. So that's pretty cool. So same thing for the other functions. And then the last one I wanted to show, that's this one. Yeah. I don't. Well spotted. So, of course, I could generate twice the same combination. So, hopefully, because we don't have the big room with 800 seats and it's not full, hopefully we won't hit any collision. Fingers crossed.
But if we have, they'll have to wrestle for the winner.
First
okay?
one, first served. Yeah, this one is interesting. So I'm going to call the database REST API, actually. And this is going through what we call a workflow connector to facilitate interacting with some of the Google APIs. And it's really just, so I'm going to call this patch method to update a record. I'm going to point at the document I want to update, and then I pass, okay, I'm going to store an emotion, a color, an animal. And that's about it. And I can show you, perhaps I need to reload, like the existing entries that have been saved in Firestore. So the structure that you saw here, so emotion, color, animal. So this is going to be fields in my document here. So that's it for the workflow. Yeah, and there are other handy things, like you can see metrics, the ongoing executions, you can see the logs, the different ways to trigger a particular workflow, the source, etc. So we said the workflow is calling some functions. So I actually have 3 functions. So one for animal, one for colors, one for emotions. So let's have a look at just one. Let's say, why not animals? Let's show the source, and same thing, you can see the details, where it was hosted, the CPU quantity that you have, etc. And I'm just going to show you, so I'm using Maven this time for my functions, so I'm not against Maven, right? And it's using Java 11, and let me show you the code here. So I've got a big list of animals, okay? Oh yeah, I'm implementing HTTP function, that's from the Java API for Cloud Function. And then it's simple, I'm just going through, I pick up a random animal, and then I'm using JSON to serialize the result as JSON. And so functions, okay. And I guess what I didn't show you was the fact that so we deployed the which one is it? The raffle front end. So that's the this. If I come back here, that's this application. We deployed it on Cloud Run. We deployed the raffle ticket. That's the one that handles the Google Wallet integration. And actually, interestingly, I'm using the second generation of Cloud Function, and it's actually based on top of Cloud Run. So you can see that functions have been somehow containerized and are also running in the Cloud Run infrastructure. And yeah, I think that's about it. Oh yeah, one last thing maybe about Cloud Run. It's that it's based on the Knative open source projects and APIs, which means that in terms of portability, so it's not just a container that is portable, but if you want to also scale the same way up and down, etc., on your own Kubernetes cluster outside of the Google Cloud infrastructure, right? So you're not tied or locked in Google Cloud because you can also run that container in the same serverless fashion, potentially using Knative, okay, on your own Kubernetes clusters or on competitors' Kubernetes clusters. So this is the Knative representation of that particular service deployment. And I think I haven't forgotten anything. So yeah, I used Cloud Build, and we're storing the artifacts, the containers, on container registry. Artifact I never know because we've got two. There's artifact registry and container registry, and I always forget which one is which. And yeah, we didn't turn it on, but you can. There are built-in vulnerability scanning features and so on. So that's pretty cool. I think that's it, right? So to wrap up and some extra announcements. So if you want to, so it's a complex, somewhat complex architecture for a very simple use case here, but of course you can have and build some very complex scenarios on top of serverless technologies on Google Cloud, etc. And if you want to dive deeper and if you want to play with the Google Cloud technologies, we just announced this week, hear the word announced.
Wait, again.
Announced. There's the Skills Boost program, which is kind of a subscription, which also gives you cloud credits. So you've got so there's a free trial which gave you $300 of credits, but now with this program you get 500, and if you go through certification, you can be Google Cloud certified, blah blah blah. You're going to get 500 extra credits. So you've got access to the exams, the training stuff, the code labs, etc. So I should.
Oh, by the way,
pick a winner, right?
We have two programs. We have the Google Cloud Innovators program.
Oh yeah.
You can go to the booth and register and get some great coffee. And what Guillaume just announced is an additional subscription that enables you to become even better with Google Cloud.
Exactly. So. Are you ready? Yeah? Huh? Ah.
We don't have the drums, that's why.
So let's pick up a new winner. Unamused Red Rabbit. Who's Unamused Red Rabbit? Yeah, congratulations. Yeah. Oh, just. Is it working? Yeah. Ta-da! Oh yeah, and we need to check, I guess. So Pixel Buds Pro, Unamused Red Rabbit. So I'll let you. So now we are right here, facing the crowd. Crowd.
No. You
Come here, like me.
Yeah.
On my side.
You're overthinking. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, and I just need
Awesome. And you need to. Yeah. Congrats.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, Guillaume wants to take one home.
Yeah, I want to keep one. All right, and the last announcement as well. So here I used the Google Cloud Console. We had what we call the Cloud Shells, which is a shell which is already pre-configured and runs in the cloud. But we announced something again this week at Cloud Next. Google Cloud Next, the conference, we announced what we call Cloud Workstation. So it's really a full-blown development environment that runs in the cloud, that gives you access to, you can just develop remotely from your laptop and everything is running in the cloud, and even the source code can stay in the cloud. So in terms of security, for example, if your laptop is stolen, you don't have a problem with your security people. And there's also, related to that announcement, we have a partnership with JetBrains, because you can use the JetBrains gateway to actually access those cloud workstations. So it's a VM somehow running in the cloud with all your environment, but you can still use a local IDE to connect to that workstation and work locally as if you were working on your laptop. Everything was on your laptop, but it's in the cloud, and it's a very, very nice integration, I would say. So with that, congratulations on this launch, I guess. And we're going to pick our last winner, right?
Yeah, if you want to learn more about this integration, you can go to our booth, you can have some coffee, and then you can go to the JetBrains booth and ask more about it. Okay?
Yeah. And who is the worried white deer? Yeah, congrats. You want to do it? Yeah, okay. So you're worried white deer. Yeah.
Okay.
Congratulations. You're welcome. All right, so that's about it. So thanks for that. Well, we picked the winner already. So thank you for your attention. It's been a pleasure to have you here. And we're happy to answer. So we've got like 5 minutes. If you have any questions, we'd be happy to answer them.
Thank you so much.
So any question about Wallet, about Google Cloud, about Micronaut, Quarkus, containerization? No? So feel free to go grab a coffee at our booth.
Yeah, so
Some good coffee.
Google booth, coffee.
Thank you. And well, enjoy the rest of the conference. Thank you.
And thank you for coming.